Welcome in, IllinoisPrep.com, Eric Seal, Skylar King. We got quarterfinalists in football. We're starting with 5A. At Eric iPrep, at Skylar iPrep. Hit us up. Just a quick rundown of the results in the second round. JCA went to Morris, won 41-7. Washington, 15-12 over Rich East. Springfield, Sacred Heart Griffin, 42-7 over Troy. Chatham Glenwood, 27-20 over U-High. Maple Park Canelan, 31-28 over Wheaton St. Francis. Rochelle, 21-16 over Sycamore. Marion, 55-39 over Tinley Park. And the champs, Montini, 35-10 over Sterling. So let's jump off Mr. Seal's most impressive performance for you.
Very impressed by the game that I thought was going to go the other way. I picked Morris in the game. Not only did I pick it, but I put B-dubs on it.
Yep.
And JCA showed me that I'm not even wrong. I'm completely wrong. They just manhandled Morris. I mean, when you have a Ty Isaac and a Malin Jones and the JCA staff and everybody else on the team, that's just they're a contender.
Yeah, definitely the most impressive performance. I know because I was there. And even the touchdown that Morris scored, it was the first possession of the second half, and they hit two quick seam passes right at the middle that sort of looked like caught JCA off guard because Morris really wasn't passing that successfully before that. And, I mean, Ty Isaac, 16 carries, 214, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 1 touchdown receiving. This guy, it seems like we saw it against Carmel. In big games, Ty Isaac makes big plays. Malin Jones also had, I believe it was a 73-yard touchdown run to start the game. Just too much talent for Joliet Catholic in this football game. And Morris just they had some size, especially on defense, but they just did not have the game breakers.
And this is what we were talking about earlier, where it comes into advantage, the fact that JCA plays in that larger conference,
yep.
8A, 7A, 6A schools, is the fact that when they get to the playoffs, they're at a different level.
Right. They're physically ready for anybody.
Exactly.
And so they're going to play Washington in the next round. And, the other matches we have, again, Sacred Heart Griffin is going to be hosting Chatham Glenwood. That is a regular season rematch.
Yep.
Springfield Griffin won 34-27 at Chatham Glenwood in week 1. Chatham Glenwood was, of course, last year's runner-up. Maple Park Canelan will be going to Rochelle, and then Montini will be hosting Marion. What's your most anticipated matchup?
I think it's what you mentioned. I wouldn't say one matchup, but it's the 2 regular season matchups. It's hard to be the same team twice.
Yep.
With Sacred Heart Griffin from Chatham Glenwood, with Marion and Montini. Montini didn't have the quarterback.
That to me is why it's Sacred Heart Griffin Chatham Glenwood.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a surprise if Marion, not only because it's the second time they had to beat Montini, but because Montini's got their quarterback back. He and Westerkamp seem to be on the same page. And they've put up 84 points in the first 2 rounds.
Pretty good.
I mean, when you're averaging 6 touchdowns a game, I don't care. One of 2 things. Either you're going to have to stop Westerkamp, or you're going to have to put 40 on Montini's defense.
And probably neither are going to happen.
Right. And so, again, Sacred Heart Griffin, Chatham Glenwood. Griffin, one of the powerhouse programs in the state. Chatham Glenwood, last year's runner-up. So
yep.
These are 2 programs that not only know each other well, but both expect to advance deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so, that to me is definitely the biggest matchup there. Sacred Heart Griffin, 446 yards of total offense against Troy. You probably wouldn't know, but how often do high school offenses actually put up 400 yards?
Not a lot. And when they're putting up stuff like that, that just means everything is clicking. The kids are listening to the coach. They're believing in what they're doing. And if any time is good for that to happen, it's right now in the playoffs.
Yeah. And in Illinois, probably not 300 passing yards. No. They were going helmet on helmet and just dominating
Not too many. Did you go ahead and give where we're at with scores as far as the 5A brackets?
Sure. So obviously, we did by straight record in the first round, but since we lost teams, now it's more like an NCAA tournament bracket. I have 6. I correctly picked 6 teams into the quarterfinals. I believe you had 4, and so part of my edge there. I think I'm 3 picks ahead total.
Total out of all the brackets.
Out of all 4,
yep.
Correct. And so, basically the way the bracket is looking for you is, you need JCA to go down, and you need Montini to win the whole thing. So we'll see. Certainly, I'd love to see a rematch of that state championship game. Some other highlights here. Maple Park Canlan and Wheaton St. Francis, probably the best game here, 31-28. Drew David from Maple Park Canlan, 21 of 40, 354 yards and 3 touchdowns. So there's a team that does do it through the air. And if they can keep that going, that'll be a big advantage for them.
Yeah, that'll be big. Going against Rochelle next week, I don't know if they've seen that type of offense. And, when you get in the playoffs, you only have so many times to mess up and the game's over.
And then that other rematch, this might be a long game because it was a 1-point win for Marion in week 4 at home. They have to go to Montini, but we know Montini does it through the air. Chris Streveler, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns passing.
Wow.
So a team comfortable doing it through the air, along with Montini. These 2 defenses better be ready because...
and that's the thing about it. Since both of these teams pass so much, the fact that they practice against it in defense, I think is going to help them. When you have a team like Peoria Ridgewoods or JCA where they're doing a lot of running, they don't get to see that, that pass-happy offense as much in practice. You can emulate it, but you can't duplicate it.
So, quickly here, we'll wrap up 5A. Who are your 4 semifinalists?
Well, from what I had left.
No, I'm saying, we know we missed some. So,
okay.
From who's alive here?
I think it's probably going to be JCA versus Sacred Heart Griffin.
I agree.
And I'm going to say, like I had Montini Canlan.
Yep. I think that's probably true. I think the biggest shock would be, obviously they're a 13 seed. If Rochelle beat Canlan, that'd probably be the biggest shock, even though I'd be really surprised if Joliet Catholic lost to Washington.
Yep.
They've played at least once recently in the playoffs, and I know different years, but Joliet Catholic's Joliet Catholic. I think they beat Washington by about 40 a couple years ago in the playoffs. And so they get them at Washington, but I'd be really surprised if Joliet Catholic lost as well.
Yeah.
It should be. I think that'd be really fun if we did get Joliet Catholic, even though they're technically a 4 seed. They're the best team in that part of the bracket.
Yep.
And then you'd have the number 1 seed Sacred Heart Griffin, number 1 seed Canlan, and number 6, but they're the 2-time champ. You'd probably have what people would say on paper are the 4 best teams in 5A, and that's what it's all about.
Which is good because some of our other brackets don't look anything like that, and so it happened to work out good. And you're right; though some of their seeds might be different from what they might actually be there. We know who the best teams are in this conference or in this bracket.
Absolutely. So, some big matchups, some rematches, a lot of exciting stuff going on in 5A. Come back. We're going to be doing 6, 7, 8A still, and enjoy some football. We'll see you next time at IllinoisPrep.com.